Alright guys, welcome back to another one. In today's video, we've got some more Stellar Blade news to talk about as ShiftUp recently released their Q3 earnings report for investors, which has provided us some pretty interesting information about future plans for ShiftUp and of course Stellar Blade. So the thing people are most eager to know about Stellar Blade is when is it coming to the PC platform? We know throughout this year, ShiftUp have expressed their interest in bringing Stellar Blade to beyond just PS5 and to PC. Well, good news, they have mentioned that they are aiming for a 2025 release, mentioning the recent Black Myth Wukong and how it broke some pretty insane numbers over on the Steam platform. A recent trend with publishers and developers over the past couple of years is that it's way more beneficial to release your game on all platforms. Bring your game to as many platforms as possible. This was some big news that was announced by Square Enix at the beginning of this year, mentioning that they are going to have a heavy multi-platform focus, which tells us that they are wanting to break away from timed exclusivity for specific platforms, looking at, of course, PlayStation. ShiftUp kind of got into a similar situation with Stellar Blade. When it was first revealed back in 2019 as Project Eve, it was set to release on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Sony caught wind of Project Eve and thought it looked pretty promising. They offered to help out with both publishing and some funding, but through this, it meant that Stellar Blade had to be a timed exclusive for PlayStation 5. But here's the thing, I think that a lot of developers, when they are offered these contracts, where obviously they are getting some additional benefits through timed exclusivity, are realizing that the bag they're going to be taking home with bringing their game to as many platforms as possible is bigger than the bag that's offered by a specific platform holder. Again, it's clear that this is something that Square Enix are realizing deeply. When we look at the likes of something like Final Fantasy XVI or the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. So with ShiftUp targeting a 2025 release, this means that the timed exclusivity contract they had with Sony is only about a year or so great to know that Stellar Blade can come to other platforms beginning in 2025. And because the game was also originally targeting Xbox, it wouldn't surprise me if they are also planning an Xbox version. Now, we've talked about this a lot, but why do players want a PC version of Stellar Blade, aside from the glorious high-definition experience that you're going to be getting while playing on PC? Well, my dear child, the simple answer to that is
mods.
So I don't think this really needs much of an explanation, but the character designs, as well as the added physics to the character models, are designed with an intended purpose. Kim Hyung-tae, the director of Stellar Blade, has mentioned that the reason why he designs the female characters a certain way is because this is his ideal woman. I'm not even joking, this is a verbatim quote from Kim. It's incredibly similar to the Yoko Taro thing, I just like girls. So like a lot of instances where video games have attractive characters, it means that when it comes to the PC platform, the Gooners can take this one step, or maybe several steps further. Stellar Blade is an Unreal Engine game, so this means that creating custom content and modifying certain things in the game is a lot easier compared to other game engines due to the accessibility of this engine and the ecosystem of how it works. I am telling you right now that when Stellar Blade comes to PC, it is going to break the internet in regards to its mod support, because holy shit. There are plenty of games out there that have pretty large adult mod libraries when it comes to their respective mod nexus websites. The likes of something like Final Fantasy VII Remake, or of course something like Skyrim or Fallout, yeah, they're pretty large in numbers. Stellar Blade, I'm telling you right now, maybe aside from Skyrim, because that game just has too many mods to count, will consist of the biggest NSFW mod category known to man. Mark my words. ShiftUp have also mentioned that continued support and most likely content is coming for Stellar Blade. Mentioned here, we plan to maintain the momentum of the IP until the platform expansion is complete. Platform expansion meaning, of course, the game coming to other platforms. So when the game eventually does arrive on PC, along with possibly Xbox as well, all of the content that released prior for PlayStation will arrive as a complete package day one on those additional platforms. So the smaller updates that we've been receiving for the game since its launch earlier this year, I would say more of those are to be expected, so additional quality of life improvements along with outfits and whatnot. But of course we know that ShiftUp have also expressed interest in developing a paid DLC for the game. The upcoming Nier Automata DLC is going to be the biggest content drop, but of course it's still a smallish free cosmetic update. I think a lot of people would like to see a small additional story segment DLC with a few extra hours of gameplay. Now looking at the future of ShiftUp as a company, some exciting stuff was mentioned here within the report. If we look at Stellar Blade, it was the company's very first foothold into the console market. Prior to that, the game that they had been working on for many years was Nikke, Goddess of Fate, a gacha-based mobile game. So through Stellar Blade, the company is a lot more known at this point. I dare even say that they are creeping into the mainstream. This means that we can only expect some bigger releases from them going forward. It was announced over on their website earlier this year that their next big project is currently in development, described as being a cross-platform next-gen project that is a AAA urban action RPG. Shortly afterwards, it was revealed that the codename of this game is known as Project Witches. It was asked within this report what the status of development is with Project Witches. ShiftUp have mentioned that they are aiming to launch the game after 2027. However, they are considering engaging with users in the market in the first half of next year to share more specific details about the game. So next year in 2025, we should have our first look at ShiftUp's next big game. Some further details about this was also shared a few months back, mentioning that it's going to be a subculture genre game based on a new IP. So seemingly it doesn't have anything to do with Stellar Blade or Nikke, and the game is going to be available on mobile, PC, and console platforms. This to me absolutely sounds like ShiftUp's own version of something like Wuthering Waves or Genshin Impact, which is a company that has been successfully developing a mobile gacha-based game for so long up until Stellar Blade. It's not surprising that they would dip their toes into a game like this. They already have expertise on that whole ecosystem of that game genre, along with the action-orientated combat that can be found within Stellar Blade. Now, admittedly, I am a little bit exhausted of these games because these anime-esque action RPG live service games are becoming more and more common. I know though that ShiftUp are some pretty competent developers, just seeing the work on Nikke and Stellar Blade. So yeah, I am a little bit excited for this. It was also mentioned in this interview that ShiftUp are wanting to start brand new project developments every 2 to 3 years, with a total development period of 4 to 5 years. So by the time Project Witches releases, anywhere from 2027 to 2028, their next game will have already been in development for around about a year. It seems like development efficiency is something that ShiftUp are heavily focusing on, where they have this constant stream of content for their audience to look forward to. And I would say that no doubt after the release of Project Witches, their next game will likely be Stellar Blade 2, just given the success of this game. However guys, that is everything you need to know about Stellar Blade and ShiftUp for the time being. Definitely some exciting stuff revolving around the game at the moment, with the upcoming Nier DLC set to release next week. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything going on here. Check out my other garbage social media platforms. A big thank you to my wonderful patrons. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll talk real soon.